Hi everyone, this is Krishna Thakkar and thanks for tuning in again to this podcast. As you know, in the podcast, we discuss small instances from our epics which help us understand them in a new perspective and maybe gain something from them. Today is one such instance between Ram and Bharat. This instance is from the time when Ram had left for Vanvas and Bharat follows him and asks him to return. So when Bharat was coming, Lakshman saw him arriving from a distance and he assumed, like mother, like son. Kaikai made sure that Ram loses everything, but Bharat is here with his army to ensure that Ram dies. He is here to wage a war on Ram. So Lakshman decides to go ahead and fight. Ram stops him and says, "You should not forget that he is our brother. Let's figure out what he has to say at least." That's when Bharat arrives. And to Lakshman's shock, instead of trying to attack, he falls on Ram's feet, weeping. Ram wonders, how can Bharat come here with the army, with citizens, with all the ministers, everyone, and why is he weeping? So he wonders, and now he continuously asks a series of questions and gives him advice. This dialogue is taken from the English translation of the Valmiki Ramayan and gives us a beautiful insight into management and leadership skills. Here it goes. Ram kissed Bharat on the forehead and drew him to sit beside him, and he questioned him calmly. "What has happened to our father, dear brother, that you have come to the forest? You should not have come here while he is alive." "Oh Bharat, it's been so long that I saw you. And now when I see you in the forest, after you have come so far, I find you greatly changed in appearance. Is everything all right with the righteous and the truthful King Dashrath? And the wise and the learned Brahmin, ever devoted to Dharma, the royal priest of Ikshvaku clan? Is he honored appropriately? My brother, how are our mothers, Kaushalya and Sumitra? Is Mother Kaikai happy?" Now the following dialogues are very beautiful conversation. "Have you appointed ministers who are self-restrained and brave, who are well-born, trustworthy and skilled in the arts of diplomacy? Decisions taken after due consideration by ministers who are learned in polity as well as are reliable are very important to the success of the kings. I trust you do not sleep too much, that you wake at appropriate time and spend early hours in the morning thinking about how you can achieve your ends. Do not take advice only from one man, nor either from too many, and make sure that your innermost thoughts are not spread all over the kingdom. Do you act quickly and without delay so that you can achieve your ends by simple means? Do your tributary kings know about your plans only after they have been implemented? Or do they hear about them while they are in process? No one should know about the process of your deliberations unless you have taken that person into confidence. Choose one learned and intelligent man as your advisor instead of 1,000 foolish men, for the learned can do a great deal of good and achieve all your goals. 1,000 foolish men can do nothing for a king, but one advisor who is skilled, observant, brave and intelligent can bring a king great glory. Give the best of your retainers the most important task to perform, less important work to the middling retainers, and least important to work who rank the lowest. Trust the significant affairs of the state to men who are pure in thought, to those who have been tested and found true, and to those who are hereditary holders of your office. Do not let your subjects think badly of you. You must quickly get rid of a brave and a skilled man who has conspired against you and aspires to power, or you will be killed by him. Have you appointed a brave, resolute, wise, skilled and nobly born man as the commander of your army? The men who lead your army are strong and skilled in the arts of war. Do you honor and praise them appropriately? Do you supply your army with proper food and pay each man his due? You must do this without any delay at appointed time. For if food and wages are delayed, the army will rise against its master in anger. Are all the princes and your retainers devoted to you? Will they calmly give up their lives for your sake? Have you chosen a man who is eloquent, wise, skilled, and learned as your personal messenger? Do you keep the important men in other kingdoms and in your own under constant watch by the 3 spies each, unknown to each other and to the world? Do you keep a special watch over your exiled enemies who have returned? Never think of them as weak or ineffectual. Do not honor the Brahmins who are materialist philosophers, for they are not worthy. Even though there are prescriptive sacred texts for all aspects of life, these men of twisted intellect reject the Vedas and depend on pure rationality. My brother, the city is ruled by our forefathers, that is filled with horses, elephants and chariots, inhabited by thousands of noble people, and they are devoted to their duty. Do you protect that city of Ayodhya such that its name, which means impregnable, stands true? It is a king's duty to protect the people and the dharma. Do you reassure that women make sure that they are safe? Do you wake up early in the morning and show yourself to people fully adorned in the assembly hall and in the main street? Are all your forts supplied with grain and water, with weapons and machines, workmen and archers? Is your income greater than your expenditure? Do not waste your money on inconsequential things. Spend your money on worshipping the gods and the ancestors, and in honoring the noble people. If a noble man who is pure in spirit and deed is accused of theft by conspirators, he must be questioned by experts before his wealth is attached out of his greed. If a thief is caught and questioned and the evidence is found against him, he should not be set free for reasons of greed. And when a man is in trouble, be he rich or poor, do your learned ministers inquire into the matter? The tears of a man unjustly accused can destroy the progeny and wealth of a king who rules for selfish pleasures. Do you keep the elders happy by giving them what they want, and children happy by giving them affection, and scholars happy by speaking with gratitude? Do you honor the elders and the teachers, ascetics, gods, guests, and those who have accomplished their ends? Bharat, you know the appropriate time for all these things, and therefore pursue each at the right time. Do the Brahmins and common people pray together for your welfare? Avoid the flaws that mar the personality of a great king, including atheism, untruth, anger, and procrastination. Do not taste your food yourself and give generously to your friends and those who need help. What will I do with this advice of the duties of a king when I have renounced kingship? Replied Bharat. The eternally established Dharma states that while the eldest son lives, a younger son cannot be the king. Come back with me to the prosperous Ayodhya and crown yourself the king for the glory of the clan. Because I think of you as a god and your life has been devoted to Dharma. Now the further conversation goes into much more depth as the two brothers argue Dharma and discuss whether Ram should accept the kingdom or no. However, this conversation between Ram and Bharat can actually be implemented even in today's times, where things like Dharma, responsibility, was given more importance than materialism and momentary pleasure. I hope you like this conversation and I hope you like this podcast. Stay tuned. The detailed conversation between Ram and Bharat shall be followed up in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you wish to send a cheering note or a feedback, please note down the email ID. It's krishnathakkar61@gmail.com. I repeat, KRISHNATHAKKAR61@gmail.com. Do tune into for other podcasts as well. Till then, have a happy day. Bye-bye.